So kind of keeping with that, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge you guys face in 25?
Oh, the biggest challenge will probably actually be something very simple. Like, I don't think we're going to do a temporary exhibit this year. We'll still do all the things that people want to engage with us, but we're gearing up to do a lot of big things that we want to accomplish in 2026. And if I want to make an impact in that year, there are things that I know realistically that I will give up this year. Not to say a temporary exhibit won't happen, but in past years, I go out and I'm actively working on putting things together. This year, if one happens, it pretty much has to fall in our lap.
Can we poke and prod? Like, what can we expect in 26?
So 26 is our 50th. So we're doing things like acknowledging the past with our original board members and who they were as community members and what did they contribute. We had this fundraising thing that was acknowledgement for the first 500 members of the museum. We do not have 500 members at the museum right now. So it's acknowledging those people and how they participated and how far we've come so that people know that look at everything that we've done and look at where we are now. And now I would like to explain to you where we want to go, how we want to change, how we want to evolve and all that. But every quarter is kind of a different topic. So every quarter will almost have its own temporary exhibit in some way or another. So the Lions Club, along with the city, refinished a older Dutch windmill that they found that used to belong to somebody local. It is at the museum. It's finished. There's now going to be a history revolved around that. And then we're going to, have another topic or another highlight in the other quarters. So I don't have all the answers right now because that's what we're working on right now. But that's the plan.
It just takes, 6 to 9 months to get each of these things set up, eh?
Well, those will be a little bit more generalized and specific. So they won't take up larger spaces. They'll more be like walking exhibits. Like we might walk through something, or maybe it's something that already exists in the museum, but we'll create a walking tour to specifically engage with that content. Or maybe we revitalize our downtown Main Street and do something in conjunction with the fact that our own Main Street locally has been revitalized. So it's just kind of connecting those dots of how we've changed, how long it took us to get here, how important it was that our community allowed us. The museum was literally built on donations and volunteer work.
Wow.
We did not get federal funding. The city bought the building, but it's like a giant community effort.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So 50 years. Mm-hmm. Who are some of the key people then that I guess came together to make it happen? Were they just like local businesses, local families? So
the building that we're in used to be North Washington Implement, which was the John Deere tractor dealership. And the size of the building that you see was only half the size. So there used to be like a concrete path to the east where the Main Street exhibit is now. And basically what happened was North Wash moved. That building became vacant, and I cannot remember the owner off the top of my head, but who owned it, but she was local. And she, I think she was a previous owner of North Wash, but Fred Polander III came to the city and said, I have this large horse and carriage collection. And apparently it had been a discussion that leading up to the bicentennial celebration of the city that they talked about putting together a museum to celebrate their past and celebrate their 90th year and all of this kind of stuff. So a couple things happened in the city. Then Cape stepped forward and said, well, talk about buying the building and a collection. And then a gentleman named George Young, who long history in the area. He was in retirement. He came out, carpenter, lots of skills, built all the things that you see in the building with him and his family, brother.
Is he partly responsible then? Because
yes,
for those who don't know about the Lynden Museum, the coolest exhibit is what is effectively a miniature town.
Yeah.
And so
he's 100%. There is, because I'm doing all the research now, his pipe dream was that side of the thing. That side of the building did not exist. They brought in the old trusses from the original Bellingham ferry terminal before they did all that stuff. And people donated their trucks and their equipment and their skill sets and their labor and then ultimately money to get that side built. And there are Tribune and Bellingham Herald articles about how that did not exist yet. And ultimately that's his dream, was to recreate.
It's cool. When I grew up in, I'm not going to say bum country, Ontario, Canada, but I
wondered by the A.
Yeah, it shows every now and then.
Yeah.
But I remember we had a small town museum as well. It was not a super old town, but a couple decades. And farming town. All right, let's go to the farming town museum. Let's see what's going on. And the big thing was that they had, remember Mr. Peanut? The one who's on all those peanut cans?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was their big thing, that they had a extra life-size replica of Mr. Peanut.
Okay.
And they had a whole bunch of junk in the museum. Not well organized, bunch of articles. And as a kid, you kind of got tired of Mr. Peanut. So you would go out to the big exhibit that's behind. And it's a barn that they converted into the extra division of the museum. So we went in there. It's just 12 tractors. Not in good condition, mind you. They're just 12 tractors that they got parked in there.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that the Lynden Museum was having a murder mystery night, we're like,
oh, that's right.
Museums don't do that. They're boring and they have Mr. Peanut in them. And then I come out and there's this whole town replica. It's perfect for a murder mystery.
Oh, sure.
And it was a blast.
No murders, by the way. Family friendly.
Family friendly murders only.
Kidnappings and, thefts.
Anyways, yeah, it's a really cool museum that you guys got.
Yeah, if you think of the capacity and to build, you're basically building a house.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things that I wonder why they chose to do it that way, but structurally, it's just a feat, and to build everything that's inside of them too is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, and every different building that you have in there is like this own different little snapshot of what life could have been like.
Yeah.